Hello, my name is Father Sammie Milletta, and over the years I've developed a real love affair for food. I have no formal training, but I've learned some things along the way, and I'm glad to share them with you. So thanks for coming to my kitchen, because you're in the kitchen with Padre. So what are we going to do today? Well, I was thinking, a few weeks ago, we did an Asian-inspired meal for the staff. We made orange chicken, chow mein, and some peppered beef. And I love Chinese food. I love it. But I also love Italian food. So after that meal, I started thinking, wonder if you put them together. Wonder if you try to fuse Italian and Chinese, what would happen? So today, we're going to make what would be an Italian garlic and oil pasta with a little parsley, but we're going to add Asian flavors. We're going to fuse it and put some cheese on it, and it's going to be amazing. A little spicy, because that's Asian. It's going to be really, really good. And then for dessert, we're going to do a chocolate cream pie. So we always like to start with dessert, so that's what we're going to start with. There are so many different ways that we can make chocolate cream pie. There's all kinds of recipes, and this is the one that I've settled on as easy. There's a little bit of cheating going on here, and you'll see that in a minute. But I don't mind a little cheating if it ends up being a lot easier, number one. And number two, taste is good or better than the full process of making a chocolate custard. And furthermore, I don't like those chocolate cream pies that are more pudding-like based. I prefer mine more lighter and creamier, and so that's what we're going to do today. Now you can use graham cracker crust, you can use shortbread crust, you can use Oreo crust if you want, but I always use a pie crust, and I do that because my mom always likes to have a pie crust. Now this crust is my go-to crust. This uses vodka, and let me tell you why I put vodka in my pie crust. I put vodka in a lot of different things when I want to inhibit the formation of gluten. And so for a pie crust, you want something light and flaky. And so the more gluten that gets formed, the more tough that dough becomes. So by putting vodka, you don't taste it, the alcohol burns off it. It works perfectly. It inhibits that gluten, and you end up with a very light and crispy dough. So it's always important when you're doing a pie crust to put little holes, use a fork, because otherwise it's going to bow up and it's going to crack and be ugly. And just to make sure that we don't have that kind of buckling, we not only do this, but we're going to put some pie weights in there. I'm just going to gently I'm going to take this in a 350-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until it starts getting golden on the edges, golden brown on the edges. Okay. So what I have in here is 7 ounces of chocolate. That's 70% or higher chocolate. It works best. And we're going to do this in a microwave-safe bowl. We're going to put this in the microwave for 30-second bouts until it begins to melt, checking and stirring. You can't put this in for like a minute and think, okay, because it'll burn, it'll ruin it. So you have to be very careful and be a little patient. It's going to take 3 or 4 times before we get this. So as we do this, you see, if you can get in here, the heat of the melted chocolate will continue to melt the little pieces that are left. Now I'm going to put this in for maybe 20 seconds, and I think we'll be ready to go. So as you can see, This is thoroughly melted. It's very, very hot. Into that, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And we're going to, believe it or not, as molten hot as this is, it takes a while to get that butter to dissolve in here. Now my butter is thoroughly melted inside the hot chocolate. I'm going to add a can of condensed sweetened milk. I don't know why they make these this way, but it's always a pain to get everything out of here. So we're going to stir this together. That thoroughly incorporated. It's a nice thick base we have. Scrape the bottoms with a spatula, make sure that all the chocolate comes up and gets incorporated. Beautiful. See? Wonderful. Next, we're going to take some whipped cream. So here's where we get to the cheating part. I've used this product before. I love this. You can make mousse if you want, and that would go into this pie filling. But that's like tempering eggs and standing over a double boiler and doing all kinds of stuff. This product is fantastic. It's a couple bucks, and it's available at most local grocery stores. So I just add a packet of this chocolate mousse. And then I'm going to use this whole carton. So this is 16 ounces, 2 cups. Now with this product, it's always good to stir this in before you start beating. We're going to beat this, and you're going to see very quickly how this all comes together. Kind of a tasting spoon. I just got to do this. I made, of course, we always do a pie before the night before so we can show it the finished product. This stuff, come on. It's like, you almost need to go to confession after eating this. It's so good. It's just a wonderful product. Now, what I'm going to do is take some whipped cream that I've prepared and mix it into the chocolate, and then we're going to take that chocolate and mix it in. That's our filling. So this is just some heavy whipped cream. I'm going to use this for the topping as well. We're just going to fold this in. I'm just going to continue the 2 products, the whipped cream and the mousse mix, is going to continue to give us volume. So what you want when you cut your pie open, you want the pieces to be pretty clear, crisp, not runny. And that's the problem with a lot of chocolate cream pies is when you cut them open, they kind of like, the pieces don't stay close together. So I'm just going to keep folding this over until it's fully incorporated. That's all right if it's not perfect, because now we're going to add all this. And again, the hardest part of this is the folding. Keep folding it over until it's fully incorporated. And if you get lazy, like kind of like my arm is hurting right now, I'm just going to go to see, that kind of did the trick. But I'm going to check anyway. Take the sides, fold it up, go around and fold it in. There's still some lines in here that we want to incorporate. I don't believe that things have to be perfect. So, you know, the pie crust, the pie, if you want perfection, then fine. But I think if you eat a piece of this and you get a little darker streak in it, that's not a bad thing. Okay, now we're going to take this. Now the problem with this is we used the wrong pan. So the pie crust, instead of being, you'll see when I bring the other one out with a more shallow pan. So this is going to, with a deeper pan, it's going to slip in there. That was just an accident we made today. Oh, look at that. Is your mouth watering? So good. This is so good. And I'm going to work this in. And this is very rustic because in cooking, so often things you do in cooking are accidents. And you got to go with the flow. So even though we didn't intend to use this bigger pie dish, it has a kind of a rustic look to it. And I'm going to cover it with whipped cream anyway, so you're not going to see it. So, once again, it's so good. That is good. So, what we've done is put some lightly greased saran wrap on top, and you want to make sure that you press it in because this needs to sit for like 2 to 3 hours or better overnight so that it fully sets. And that top can form a skin on it, and you don't want to do that. So doing this, especially if you sprayed it a little bit, it will come off and it'll be really nice. Okay, so our dessert is made, and now we're going to move on to the main course, which is the fusion pasta. So let's first start with the Asian ingredients. So this is 2 tablespoons of regular soy sauce. This is 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. This is 2 tablespoons of Japanese table wine. This is 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil. This is 1 tablespoon of miso. I'm just going to blend those all together. So we also have like 8 cloves of garlic for this recipe because I'm going to be doing 2 batches. So 4 cloves of garlic for 1 batch. What I'm using for the pasta is the noodles that are stir-fried. This is this No Yolks brand. You can find in almost all stores. So we go ahead and made those noodles in advance. So I just got about 4 tablespoons of olive oil and about a half a stick of butter. And I use this Italian butter because it's got a higher butter fat. It's Italian butter. It's available at most grocery stores. I'm going to put that on medium heat. Now, this is what be the base of what I would do if I were making like a garlic olive oil sauce for pasta. So I would serve this on regular pasta noodles. Garlic, toast the garlic. You don't want to burn the garlic, so it's going to be a medium to low heat. Just want to sort of like get the flavor of the garlic into the oil. And then you pour that over and put some cheese on it, and it's wonderful. A little parsley, give it a little color, freshness to it. So I'm going to do basically that, but then I'm going to add those Asian ingredients using the Asian noodles, and we're going to hopefully get a great product. So as the garlic kind of does its thing in here, we're going to put some of the arbol peppers in here. I'm doing 2 batches of this because some of us can take a little heat and others require more heat. So the next batch that I do will have a lot more. So I'm going to let that just simmer, and again, all the flavors from the peppers and the garlic is going to come. So we take these noodles, which we've already prepared, and we're going to put them in the hot oil. And we're just going to, like we would stir fry, just mix this all together. Now this, absent the arbol peppers, would be basically what you'd have. So you get that all nice and mixed together, the garlic. I'm going to take some of this, pour it on the sides. Start coloring the pasta and just keep doing. Look how nice and rich that looks. That's that dark. Look how nice that is. Might put just a hair more parsley in it. Okay. So I'm just going to start serving this, and we have some people here to taste. Let's just put a little pasta. Joan, you want to get people to sit down and we'll start serving this?